So apparently when it comes to the Atari VCS, no news is good news. And there's been plenty of no news. So I guess things are looking good, right? Well, not exactly, especially more so after reading this article, this self-published article on medium.com by Atari VCS. We have a lot of interesting things to look at here, but man, it's really not looking good. You know, there's even places like on Reddit here where they've documented all their marketing reports, which is more just kind of making fun of certain things here because they haven't shown shit. They've just posted things on Facebook and Twitter all over the place, which, hey, more power to you. You should be promoting your brand, but it's just like, hey, pre-order here, pre-order there, pre-order the Atari VCS. And nobody really knows a damn thing about this device other than it's an Atari device, an Atari branded PC, right? We haven't seen games. We haven't seen nothing. But with this article, man, there's really no answers here, but let's go ahead and go through this a little bit. You know, there's been all these controversies. We've talked about them with them not paying Rob Wyatt. He was doing the architecture for the system. He didn't get paid for like 6 months, his firm. And then the stuff with Fergal Mac leaving and suing Atari. It's like, where do these guys have the money, right? Because when you really look at this thing, like they made $3 million and a ton of it went to marketing. A ton of it went to different people. So that's why they had to do more pre-orders. They had to get more money, right? Which I understand it, but there's just been nothing shown. But let's get back to this article. So Atari VCS Q&A. So they essentially asked themselves questions, I guess, with their chief operating officer, Michael Arts. Oh my God. So in this Q&A, Atari VCS Chief Operating Officer Michael responds to a broad range of questions. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm not going to read everything here, just comment on a few things because this just seems to be getting stupider and stupider. I don't really understand where things are going with these guys, but there's another delay, right? So they're talking about how they originally planned to launch it in late spring, early summer 2019. Obviously, that's come and gone. And even before then, they didn't show anything. And even till now, they're not showing much of anything. There's a few little controversies people are annoyed with, but here's their comment on that. In March 2019, we decided to make some modifications. We wanted to improve the system's performance and lifespan by upgrading the microprocessor to AMD Ryzen, the latest generation of AMD chips. Okay, you wanted to upgrade it, makes sense. But man, it's just like one excuse after the other. That one, I mean, I give them the benefit of the doubt. It's legit. You wanted to upgrade it. Okay, fine. Oh my God. So where do you stand today with hardware manufacturing and software development? This is like one of the biggest things. Like, where the hell is anything at? Like, show something. So they did show something here, but it's not even that big a deal. We're deep in the final stages of pre-production, heading toward mass production, which is the focus of our attention. And then they showcase these like pre-production models, which actually got like a big section of the official backers like concerned and annoyed, but at the same time they're pre-production, so I wouldn't quite trip if you're really balls deep into this Atari VCS nonsense. You really want to get your system. I hope you do. I hope you enjoy it. But a lot of people on here, they're complaining about the finish. These things look shiny. And these are some shiny ass looking systems. They look like cheap toys. They look like some crap you would buy at the dollar store, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't look good with this shiny ass plastic. They've been saying that it's supposed to be a matte finish, but at the same time, like, calm your balls. These are pre-productions, but I wouldn't put it past them to throw those out as like the actual mass-produced ones with the shiny ass finish. To me, they don't look good, man. That shiny finish bound to scratch the hell up. It just doesn't look good, but that's the image they shown. They're like showing these things off. You got some blurred out factory workers here. They don't want to be associated with the Atari VCS. That assembly line, you got to keep it anonymous because these guys, man, they don't want to be the laughing stock of the tech industry. I mean, who cares, right? But yeah, they're blurred out. They don't want to be associated with this. Here's a little side look. I mean, all this plastic, it just looks like very like cheap. Like it's just, I mean, that's not the biggest thing. It's, you know, the internals are what matters, but those first impressions of seeing these cases, it does look like crap. And, you know, I'm not trying to knock these guys who are mad that it's shiny because, like I said, maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll actually look like these images. with the matte finish, but that definitely is something of concern. I mean, a lot of people are going to be concerned with this crap because of how they've communicated and the lack of communication they've had, where this could be the final product and people will be disappointed. But hey, who knows? All of the VCS hardware, including the controllers, currently being tested for functionality and reliability, receiving final tweaks as needed. So this thing is supposed to launch to backers in December, but not anymore. We'll get to that in a moment. Final stages of software development and ramping up our efforts to onboard additional game and app developers. They haven't really announced anybody who's making games for this thing. We haven't seen any games. We've seen just Atari 2600 games, old Atari games being shown as, hey, this will work on it. The Antstream stuff, the paid service where you could play old school games. You'll get some Neo Geo stuff, Data East stuff. Okay, that's neat, I guess, but you have to pay for it. I mean, it's a given. You got to pay for it to get access. Not like it's just included, where you're getting this thing, you get a bunch of games. So there's not that. You're gonna get like Atari games, old school Atari games, but why would you want to buy this for old school Atari games when you could buy something like a Retron 77, emulate on a Raspberry Pi, play these games on a Mister, on your PC, on original hardware? There's tons of options out there. So why buy this few $100 device just for 2600 games? You got to have something that sells the system, and they haven't shown anything. There has been no games. That's one of my biggest concerns. They would shut me the hell up if they just pumped out like, we signed these guys, these guys, these guys. These are the games they're working on. Here's some production footage or whatever, pre-production stuff, or this is some progress on some games. You would shut me up, but you haven't shown any of that. And this thing was supposed to launch in 1 month. It's not going to launch in a month now. In terms of software, Atari VCS GUI and storefront is being developed in Unity and is almost complete. Everything's like on the brink of almost complete, right? Oh my God. Do you anticipate any further changes to the scheduled launch date? What about the Indiegogo backers? So they're essentially saying like the March 2020 date seems good, right? But it's the backers. It's the backers. When we adjusted our schedule in March 2019, we were aiming for year-end 2019 delivery for Indiegogo backers. Unfortunately, guys, if you back this, it's not happening. Today, given the work still to be done, including the final stages of certification and testing cycles, we now realize we will need a few more weeks than anticipated. Here's the problem, is it always turns into we need a few more weeks. We need a little bit more time. These guys got in over their heads. They didn't have enough money to work on this project to get it off its feet. They made, what was it again, $3 million? And most of that went to like marketing and PR stuff, and then not paying your architect. Like, you couldn't afford to pay the dude working on your damn system. The confidence that people are going to have going into this, like the people who backed it. Here's the thing. And I already know every video like this that I do, I get backlash, and it's backlash from people who put their money down because they want to believe. And I understand it. I get it. I ain't mad at you. You want to get what you were promised. You want to get something that is awesome. And I hope you do. But with the current situation, all the crap that's gone on, the lawsuits, the lack of updates, them just constantly posting, PR crap of just, hey, pre-order with nothing, no meat and potatoes. They're just giving you a napkin to stare at. They're not giving you shit. They're just like, hey, just pre-order this. We need some more money. We need the confidence in, lenders and whoever else and these stores like Walmart and GameStop that they'll like pre-buy a bunch of them, right? That's the thing that's just ridiculous. So they still need a few more weeks, and guaranteed few more weeks. Like that's not even a set date. Like it was supposed to be December. Now we need a few more weeks. So a few more weeks would be by the end of January, but a few more weeks could be more than just a few more weeks. And what I'm thinking 3 to 4 weeks, could be 8 to 12 weeks, could be 20 weeks. Who the hell knows? But I guarantee they're going to go silent again. I mean, they've always been silent, but they're going to go silent for a while. And then like, hey, unforeseen this. I hope not for the sake of the people who pre-ordered this, but man, it's not looking good. No matter what, we are talking weeks, not months. They're going They're going to wish they didn't say that, but we got it here documented. And the Indiegogo backers remain our top priority, as they should. They funded this thing. Backers will definitely receive their Atari VCS system before the general public. And I always have like people who argue with me on that kind of logic, because I always look at it with these Kickstarters and things like that. Unless it's explicitly stated that, hey, you'll receive this when it goes live to the general public, unless it's stated that way, I always think that backers should get the product first. Because a lot of times what happens is these scummy ass, Kickstarters and Indiegogos, they'll wind up start selling them to the general public before they send them to the backers. And it's like, man, like, you kind of feel duped a little bit. Like, you took the risk, you invested in this project, and now you have to wait longer. You could have just bought it in the store type of thing, right? Sometimes they offer some extra goodies. I don't know, but I definitely always think, like I said, unless it's explicitly stated, that backers should always be top priority because they took the risk. Atari didn't take the risk. The backers took the risk. What else do we got here? Can you share your communication plan for the next few months? Their communication plan is going to be just like this. Facebook, Twitter, boom, pre-order this, pre-order. Nothing of any substance is what's going to happen. Like I'll put a link to this Reddit page just so you could look through this stuff. It's some interesting information, but it's just documenting all their posts, and that's all they've ever done. We haven't seen games. We haven't seen shit. Okay. But here we go. We understand that our stakeholders would like to know where things stand every day. I respectfully ask them, and you got to understand the backers are stakeholders too. You put that money down. I respectfully ask them to please understand, as a public company, we must follow specific protocols that are in place. We do not always have full control over the pace or timing of our communications. Yes, you do. You always have control. You can always set aside. That's the thing that pisses me off with a lot of these companies. And like, there's projects I've backed where they don't ever say anything. And it's like, it takes all but a minute or two to post an update, a little snippet of something to continue having that confidence, establishing confidence in the people who backed your project. But a lot of companies, they decide not to. Is it fair for us to demand that we get updates? I mean, in a certain regard, yes. Like, communicate with us. Like, if it gets overbearing and crazy, I understand. You got to be respectful with your demands, right? But some of these companies, they're like, look, you're taking away from us working on this. Bullshit. 2 minutes out of your day, once every couple weeks, every few weeks or whatever, just to say, hey, this is the progress we've made, is not taking you away from working on stuff. Give me a break, man. Like, you could always share something. So this is their last part. If there was one thing I'd want people to always know, is that no news is good news where the Atari VCS is concerned. And that is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. No news is good news. There has been no news other than bad news this whole time. Like, there hasn't been anything like redeeming or establishing confidence. And see, here's the thing. I'm just the kind of person who doesn't automatically give you the benefit of the doubt. You have to prove yourself. I'm a very harsh critic. That's just the way I am. Love it or like it or leave it. I don't give a crap. But I've dealt with plenty of companies, that they've screwed up one way or another, and they wind up flipping it. They flip that bish. And they show, consumer confidence. They show that they care. They show that they want to listen to people. They show that they want to share, that they want to communicate properly. And those are the kind of companies, there's some out there that no matter what they do, I'm just like, nah, man, you know who I'm talking about. But this company's, they're not one that has done anything to flip that script on me, to make me have that thought of maybe. I don't have that maybe thought in my brain. Maybe this is going to be awesome. Maybe they're going to deliver. I'm just full of doubt with these guys. They haven't done anything to reverse that. And I believe a lot of people feel the same way. So let's continue on. Let's see what else. There has been some vigorous debate in social media about the VCS. What do you make of it? The Atari brands generate a lot of passion, and they do. And this is not Atari. These are people who bought the name. So it's a little bit of a different situation. They just go on Building a complex product like the VCS from scratch takes time and care. Oh, maybe pay the people who are working with you. And with any gaming and video platform, content in particular involves extensive discussions and cooperation with third-party partners. Where the hell are those third-party partners? I haven't seen anything, man. You guys are going to be delivering January, March, whatever the hell it is. Where's the games? There's been no gaming company as of late that's, reputable, who have announced the launch of a game or a system anyway and not shown some games before launch. Definitely before a couple months. Like, are they going to wait till the day before, the week before? What's going on here? As tempting as it might be, we can't comment publicly on confidential partnerships and licensing discussions while they are in progress. Okay, but there's been plenty of other companies out there who have been working on partnerships with companies, and they'll still tease along the things that they're doing. These guys don't. What are these deals? Are they just saying that to say it? We are glad to be reaching a stage where we can slowly start revealing more details and answer open and new questions from our community. That time's not going to be until they deliver this thing, if and when. Will the Atari VCS have original games, native apps, or a browser experience? A mix of original games and native apps is his answer here. Content will include classic, new, and indie games from both Atari and third-party publishers. Where's it at? Oh, and then their AntStream app that we've talked about. You're going to have to pay for that to get access to a bunch of games. Okay, fine, I guess. One recent report claimed there will be no native apps at launch and that all services such as Netflix will be accessible through a Chrome-style browser. If a service such as Netflix is not available as an app on our platform at launch, which probably won't be, is Netflix going to be like, yeah, Atari VCS, let's develop an app for your system. It can still be accessed through the web browser, and the sandbox mode really allows unlimited possibilities to reach anything on the web. Wow. Anybody could do that with anything, right? We don't expect the pre-launch version shipping to our Indiegogo backers to have a full complement of native third-party apps. There will be games to play and things to do, but the first big wave of apps isn't likely to come before Q1 of next year as we build toward our full retail launch and see a ramp up of the installed base. So they're not launching shit until people buy it. Obviously people got to buy it for you to launch stuff, but they're not going to be ramping up, dropping things for this, games and whatnot, until enough people have it, because otherwise, why the hell put a game on there? See, that's concerning as well. That makes it seem like, the people, like, how many of these did they sell? 11,000 backers. So if that's, just say that's 11,000 people who bought it, and there may be more with their other back it things or whatever. If they only have 11,000 people plus whoever else pre-ordered on GameStop or Walmart, I don't know if the numbers, let's just say it's double, 20,000. Let's say it's 5 times, say it's 50,000 people. Is that enough of an installed user base for a third-party developer to want to develop AAA titles or even indie titles where they have to put a lot of effort in? Maybe the indie side, because they can port that stuff all over the place and just hope to sell it. But as far as like system selling games, the ball is only in Atari's hands to get some games developed that are going to be appealing, like, actual games that may be a system seller, which with Atari, I can't think of actual system sellers, because if you're just rehashing the same games that were originally on the system, doing, new versions of Tempest, what else do they have? That was an Atari brand, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they have a bunch of games, but like without doing something new and unique, other than just rehashing the old, I don't see much being a system seller here. I don't see many people wanting to jump aboard to develop system sellers for this console without some kind of incentive from Atari. And I don't think Atari's in a position to offer any kind of decent incentive for developers, right? No kind of exclusivity deals. I'm just not seeing it. They can't afford to pay freaking Rob Wyatt. How the hell are they going to afford to be having exclusive deals? I don't know, man. What can you tell us about the custom UI? The UI that feels like Atari? Sure, why not? Let's see what else. Will the OS and store be a part of the VCS when it ships? Yes. The Indiegogo units are going to ship with the OS and integrated storefront. Okay. In addition to VCS sandbox mode, A unique feature not available on more traditional closed-off console ecosystems will also let users install and boot to a second compatible operating system such as Linux, Windows, and others. Okay, I mean, that does open up some possibilities here, but then you just got a cheap little PC. If there's nothing else on it, that's what people are going to resort to, is using that sandbox mode to actually play some stuff, right? Or to be able to like hack it up and make a little arcade unit out of it or something. I don't know, man. It's very concerning. What else do we have? Early access does not mean incomplete or unfinished. As with any game system, we look forward to engaging with the community to deliver the best possible Atari VCS experience. I still think if this does ship to people, I'm not saying it won't, but it's just a matter of when, that it is going to be incomplete. It is going to be unfinished because there's just nothing announced. I don't know how many times I've said it, but there's just going to be nothing there once these things get out there. I hope I'm proven wrong. That would be nice, especially for the people who really want this thing. But there you guys go. Not looking great. Not looking good. No news is good news. I don't think so. Share your comments down below. Really do appreciate you guys. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-byes and boom. Bye.